And to explore more on this, I'm now joined by Felicia Ajibade, a Nigerian content creator and Korean language teacher and translator. Felicia, thanks so much for your time. When did your interest in the Korean language begin?
처음에는 한국에서 장학금 받기 위해 한국어 배우기 시작했어요. 그런데 배우다 보니 언어 자체의 매력을 느꼈어요. I started learning Korean. My interest in Korean language started because I wanted to get a scholarship to study in Korea. But while studying the language for the scholarship, I just fell in love with the language. And I couldn't get the scholarship, but I just continued learning the language.
Well, thanks for giving our audiences a taste of the language there at the start of your answer. I mean, what would you say has drawn African audiences to Korean culture? What aspects in particular do you think, bringing in some of the numbers we talked about earlier?
Definitely K-dramas and K-pop. K-dramas and K-pop have definitely driven a huge wave of interest here. Their stories feel emotional and universal, and the music is just catchy. Also, social media makes it easier to discover Korean culture and connect with other fans around the world.
Okay. I mean, and for you, you've become a sensation on social media as a result of your mastery of the Korean language. Has it created any opportunities for you? And tell us a bit about that.
Yes, it has opened many doors for me. Like I said earlier, I started learning Korean language to get a scholarship to study in Korea. Now, I couldn't get the scholarship, but I've gotten so many opportunities. I got to work as a translator. I now teach Korean to other people. And I've built a community of people who love Korean language and the culture just as much as I do. And it has been an amazing way to grow personally and professionally.
Would you say, I know this might not be possible, but are there any African influences on Korean pop culture or parallels where, you see certain things in Korean culture that, you see back, on the African continent?
I've noticed some K-pop artists experimenting with Afrobeats-inspired rhythms, and I think it's really, really exciting. It shows that African music and dance is reaching Korea, and Korean artists, they are embracing that influence to make creative sounds. It's really very interesting.
So what more do you think needs to be done for that culture exchange? Because clearly, there's a lot of young people on the African continent who now have a sense of what's going on in Korean culture. But what about in South Korea as well? How can the music and the culture of the African continent be seen and heard on that end? What do you think needs to be done?
I think more collaboration needs to happen, right? The music industry, film industry, I think more collaboration needs to happen for the influence to just, to boom and be more than it is now.
Okay, and you think that will make a difference. So what next for you on this? And I'm sure you visited South Korea, and if you haven't gotten the chance, what would you hope to see when you go there now that you've mastered the language and the culture quite a bit?
I haven't had the chance to visit Korea yet, but if I do get to visit, I just want to explore Korea because I only know Korea from what I have seen in dramas and what I've seen online. I haven't been able to experience it in person. So the first thing I definitely want to do is explore and interact with the people in person. I think that would be a very, very interesting experience.
Okay, and if you can as well, for some of my colleagues who are not very active on TikTok, they haven't seen the growing film industry, drawn from Korean culture that is out there. Tell us a little bit about that and how young people are consuming that across the continent.
Nollywood is becoming more global, and as more collaborations happen, there's a real chance that African languages, storytelling, and cultural values will be shared with the Korean audience. And like I said earlier, more collaboration needs to happen for that to be bigger than it is now. There's definitely some influence of Korean in Africa, Africa in Korea, but just more collaboration needs to happen for it to be bigger than it is now, and for more people to discover African culture and Korean culture as well.
Well, Felicia Ajibade, a Nigerian content creator and Korean language teacher and translator, thank you so much for your time and for just opening up to us once again this particular topic. We truly appreciate it.